Hey, what up, everybody? This is steviebreech. Today, I got a Twitter question from somebody that seemed like I've got this question almost a million times. Why I have not made a video or brought up the fact that the Undertaker is returning at Vengeance on Sunday. Basically, everybody has been in an uproar for the last couple of months, ever since September. Well, I guess maybe even since August, since this WWE magazine came out with the 101 WWE secrets revealed. Yes, they did get the Triple H coming back at Night of Champions thing back, but I think that was just basically a shot in the dark because that wasn't even a match supposed to go down. The whole Kevin Nash fiasco with making the movie and this, that, and the other, whatever the story was, that why we didn't get that match and Triple H was running that match in the first place. Basically, it was a shot in the dark and they got that one right. But everybody's going crazy because number 62 on here is about the dead man will rise again, and they predicted he will come back at Vengeance. And I think that people are looking too much into what this says and not looking at what it actually does say. In this story, oh fuck it, I'll just read it. It just says, on October 23rd, vengeance rises from the grave in the form of an all-new pay-per-view. What better time and place for Undertaker to make his in-ring return to WWE? After all, it was a year to the date, that the Dead Man lost a buried alive match to Kane with the aid of the Nexus at 2010 WWE bragging rights. The Phenom hasn't come calling for revenge on that score. Some streak got in the way. So if it were for Kane or Wade Barrett, we'd be watching our backs come October. And if you happen to hear the ominous gong, you'll know what the bell and tea tolls for thee. Well, basically, when it comes down, when I read that, I just say that it is basically just a prediction because they say, what better time for him to return than this? He's not. They don't say that he will return. Let's come back to that. They just mentioned that a year ago he lost a buried alive match, and what better time than now to come back? Undertaker won't come back for the one reason that he can't hold up anymore. Last year he made two returns and barely made it to WrestleMania. He made his WrestleMania match. He took time after that. He came back in May, and then they built up to him qualifying for the Fatal Four-Way match. And then he was injured. He broke his orbital bone, his nose, and he received a concussion. And he took time off. He came back after that. He came back at SummerSlam, had his feud with Kane in the match that ended his streak of matches coming through. There was at oh shit, whatever the buried alive match was. I believe it was Survivor Series, but I'm not sure. But he had the shoulder problem, and he couldn't go anymore. And then basically they had to get the shoulder fixed. I don't remember if he had surgery or if he didn't have surgery. But he had to limp into WrestleMania. He didn't wrestle any matches before. He had a killer match with Triple H, and basically he packed his bags and he went home after that. You know that they want to get Undertaker to WrestleMania this year. They know that they wanted to be 20-0. It's probably going to be one of the biggest storylines if it wasn't for The Rock coming back on who he's going to fight, why he's going to fight him, and they're not going to take that risk. We almost didn't have Undertaker last year, and there's no way in the world they're going to take that chance. I mean, the storyline says that Kane buried him alive. Well, by the time WrestleMania came around and they were both in the same arena at the same time, Undertaker seemed like he was more focused on what Triple H was doing than what Kane was doing. Kane had already turned face. He was on the SmackDown Dream Team that fought the Core. And never in that storyline did he ever bring up the fact that he wanted to beat up on Wade Barrett and Otunga. No, Otunga wasn't in the Core. Justin Gabriel and Heath Slater, they were former members of Nexus. Never once did he ever bring up the fact that he was joining that team as the fact that he wanted to get, vengeance for what happened to his brother being in the buried alive match. Never did Undertaker look at Kane any other, weird way. They were both in the same arena at the same time. You would think if somebody buried you alive in some match that cost you the title, you would go bananas and you'd beat the crap out of him, even if you are going into a match to fight Triple H for your streak. So basically, long run, I don't think any of this makes sense. I think it was just a prediction, a shot in the dark to get you hyped up for a pay per view, get you thinking about something. And obviously, some people think about it more than other people. So, Undertaker return, no way. Does it help anybody here? Yes, it would help Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett's been on SmackDown, and the biggest storyline he's been involved in is him walking off and not wanting to fight some jobber on SmackDown. Um, He's had good matches with guys. He had a great match this pay per view, not pay per view, this SmackDown with Daniel Bryan. But besides that, we haven't seen nothing, from him at all. So if Undertaker was to come back, which I don't think he will, a feud with Wade Barrett would help him huge. But No way in the world. We're not getting this.